they can do it.
Hey, this is the Queen of Extreme Francine, and when I'm lonely, I listen to Mike Trash from 7 to 10 p.m. on Trash Talking Radio.
This is Sir Oliver Humperdinck, and when I'm around the audio room at the House of Humperdinck, on Tuesday nights, you can bet I'm tuned in to Mike Trash and Trash Talking Radio from 7 to 10 Eastern. Be there.
The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, live now.
This is Jerry the King Lawler from the WWE, and you know, every Tuesday, TrashTalkingRadio.com. You gotta be there. It is the greatest entertainment in the radio and internet world today. Listen, or I'll come after you.
This is Ole Anderson. I've been talking to a guy named Trash. What kind of a name is that? Well, I'll tell you what. Listen to this Trash Talking Radio, because you're going to get the latest information on professional wrestling. Remember, if Ole Anderson tells you to hitch up a grasshopper to a freight train, don't ask a lot of questions. Don't ask the Trash Talking Radio questions. Just hit him up.
It is Trash Talking Radio. It is Tuesday night, and this is the reboot. Unfortunately, I didn't reboot the computer because I saw that it would take who knows how long to get back on the air, so I'm just kind of wing it and hope that everything will work. So just hang tight. We will try to make this all happen the way it's supposed to happen, although it's not working. Why is it not working? Why am I getting the wrong transition? That should have transitioned. I should have been able to do this. Why is it not doing that? It doesn't like me. I don't like the way this is working. This is strange. It's not allowing me to transition. Oh, come on. What is going on? What is going on? All right. What if I did this? Let's see if this will work. All right, why don't you do this? It's not letting me transition things. What if I transition this way? Well, it kind of did it. All right. Let me see what's going on here. Why is this stream? The stream is really not stable tonight. This is going to suck because I really have a lot of show here, and I'm not getting things to cooperate. So how do I do this? So how do I get this thing to work? Let me try something. I don't want to do it this way, but there, that worked. All right. Well, I didn't want to do it that way, but if that's the only way I'm going to get to have things working, I guess that's the way it's going to be. But where's my page? Okay, so there's my web page. So will that work with the web page? Oh, I wonder if this was the problem. All right. Now I can't figure out what is going on. So here we are with the weirdest issues of all. Oh, there it worked. All right. That's what I wanted it to do. Now let's see if this works when I do this. All right, now we're back. Okay, good. All right, we're working now. It's all right now. All right. So anyway, this is weird. All right, so we'll do this again. If you were here for the first time, I'm sorry. We're going to do a roll call. So first, Mike Trash, you here? Mike Trash? Here, right here. Buddy, you here? Woof, woof. He's here. Trish. Trish. She doesn't appear to be here. Wonder where she is. All right. Well, I don't know where she is, but she's not here. All right. Now I got to see if this is going to be my show on the net so that I can monitor. Oh, here we go. There's my ugly mug. So, anyway, let's see what it's doing here. Oh, it went from me to somebody else. That's really odd. Okay, this is really odd. So why can't I get anything working today? That is the question. That is the real question. It's not, all right, there I am, in my infinite wisdom. There I am.
White trash?
Yep. That's me.
Here.
All right. Anyway, all right, we're going to get things rolling here. I don't know where she is. I hope she's okay. But I don't know where she is, and she never even sent me a message of any sort saying she wasn't going to be here. Let me look one last time to see if I'm correct here. But I don't know where she is. Let's see. Yep, no assistant. All right. Anyway, and no messages. How odd. So, it's really weird. I should ask Jamie to come over. Anyway, no assistant for the night. I'm assuming not for the night. So, anyway, let's do the show. Let's see where we are and what we were doing and how it all turned out to be. Obviously, we can't get into the betting part if she's not here. So I'll just skip that altogether and tell you what movies are coming out, and you be the judge. Maybe she's tired of being, harassed by the media who keeps cutting our shows down and forcing us to edit our show all up and cut it all up into little pieces. But anyway, here we go. This week, we have we have 3 movies opening this week. So, to make it start out, the first one is called Bad Times at the El Royale. No, at the E Royale. Is it E? Welcome to the E. Oh, here it is. Welcome to Bad Times at the E Royale. And that movie, it looks pretty interesting. Really bizarre. There's a lot of people in there that you wouldn't expect in a movie like this because it really looks like it's probably a low budget. So we'll show that. And it strangely has a weird feel for a bizarre movie. So if you're into bizarre movies, this is a chance to watch a bizarre movie. So, here we go. This is called Welcome to the El Royale. Let's see. That looks like an ad. That's not what I wanted. I didn't want an ad. So, I'm waiting for the ad to be done. So, there we are. Okay. Hopefully, this will not be a long ad. It looks like it's a long ad. Strange football ad of some sort. Oh, okay. That's a quit cable ad. That's a whole other thing. So here we go.
Welcome to the El Royale.
And the weird thing is I'm not really sure what time period this is set in, because it really doesn't really, you can't tell. It looks like it's maybe set in the 70s. Of course, Thor, in his elegance, is part of this. Chris Hemsworth, the guy is a very pretty guy.
Find us at the border of California and Nevada.
Bad times. So, I really don't know what it's about, but it is really bizarre, the things that I saw on it. So, just really looks strange. It has Jeff Daniels as a priest who's not really a priest. I don't know what he is, but he's not a priest. So, here we go. I can't minimize this, so I can't turn off the sound. There we go. There we go. All right. So that's first movie. Second movie is kind of an interesting movie because it's based on real life. It's called First Man, and I think I've seen a lot of previews for this, and I don't really remember for sure a lot of the stuff that happened for that movie because I was pretty young when it happened. I was in elementary school or kindergarten or something like that. So I vaguely remember the running between the countries trying to be the first one to be on the moon, and it just doesn't really. I'm sorry, I'm typing at the same time because my link isn't working. Wonder if it is working though. Hold on a sec. Can I do this? Let me see. Oh, I could probably. Yeah, there we go. Okay, good. So anyway, I remember this vaguely when I was a kid, and it really was kind of exciting because way back then, to be the first one to be on the moon, you know, it was everybody. I mean, I remember them rolling televisions in our classroom and stuff, and I remember them just kind of like telling us this is the way it's going to be, and we're going to be the first to be in the moon, and we're going to be the first to explore outer space. And I just kind of remember the excitement because we thought it was really the greatest thing that this could be actually happening in my lifetime, you know. And it turned out to be, now see, this isn't working either. Why is this not working? Why is none of these links working the way they should have been working? I don't think this is going to work either. Let me see. All right. I rarely have bad links. That's why it's kind of weird for me to think about not being able to get this working. Let me see. I got another solution. Let's try this one. First Man. All right, now I got it. Okay. This is the official trailer, not the bootleg trailer. It is the official trailer of the Olympics. Here we go. Hopefully.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Be an adventure.
First man to walk on the moon. That'd be something.
We've chosen a job so difficult, requiring so many technological developments.
You know, my brother. Hold on here. My brother was named after Neil Armstrong. Not my older brother, my younger brother. Just kind of piece of useless trivia.
Neil, if this flight is successful, you'll go down in history. What kind of thoughts do you have about that?
We're planning on the flight being successful.
Could you imagine that question? I mean, geez, what do they think he's going to do? You're going to do your best to fail? That I think is really bizarre to think about if you're successful. I mean, if anybody went in there with the if you're successful mindset, that would be the wrong mindset. We think we might make it, or maybe not.
Damn, that is a big mother. It'll go up like a half-kiloton A-bomb if it blows.
The vehicle's not safe.
We need to fail down here so we don't fail up there.
This isn't just another trip, Neil. You're not just going to work.
Do you think you're coming back?
There are risks, but we have every intention of coming back.
Imagine, I want to back this up just a hair. Just a hair. Where they showed the oh, wait a minute, here we go. So they only show you a flash
There are risks, but we have every intention of coming back.
They did this one, there it is. I did it again, I went too far. There it is. So they had this this picture or this video here of the capsule, and it's amazing how small that capsule is. These people are climbing into a thing that's probably, I would say what is it, 3 people are fitting into this capsule that is very, very, very small. And, man, the size of the rocket versus the size of the capsule is really, I'm just like freaking out because I could never get into a thing like that small. And that takes some guts. So those guys had a lot of guts, or maybe they were stupid. I don't know. Either one.
Somebody got a Swiss Army knife? Swiss Army knife? You kidding me?
And what if you got sick? I mean, chances are you'd have to throw up in your mask, too.
Here we go.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
And the G-force that rocket had to be amazing. It would just be so much that you're being pinned to your seat without any, you wouldn't have to have a seatbelt because you couldn't move anyway.
Do you question whether the program's worth the cost in money and in lives?
You're down here and you look up and you don't think about it too much, but space exploration changes your perception. And it allows us to see things that we should have seen a long time ago.
We have serious problems.
We've got this under control.
You're a bunch of boys. You don't have anything under control.
Just the thing that when you did land, to think that you were you don't know what it's really like because no one's ever done it before. But when you land, to go outside and to see lots of nothingness, and that would be kind of cool. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. There's no way I could do that. I would love to be the one that would do that, but I am a coward when it comes to leaving the Earth. And actually, Steven Spielberg's an executive producer of that. So, yeah, I can't imagine. That would be amazing, though, to see what they've seen and to think that they're one of the few people that have actually seen the outer space from outer space. That would be an awesome thing. I just am amazed at the fact that, we were probably there. I mean, there are rumors that we really weren't there and it was a movie set. I don't really think that that's the case. I'll say that to razz somebody, but I'll tell you, that is an amazing thing to think about going. And Elon Musk and his journey of Merry Fools, I mean, they're going to send people, laymen, non-space people up there, and you'll have a chance to experience firsthand. That's got to be a really cool thing, too. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And whether or not, they do well in the box office. I mean, there isn't a lot happening in the box office other than the 2 movies from last week, which are doing really, really well. And I'll talk about that shortly. But, yeah, it's an amazing thing to think that they are going to go up there. Well, they're probably going to get beat by this next movie, in my opinion. The next movie is a Jack Black movie. I think he's still in this. I think he was in the first one. I think he's in this one probably too.
Hey, Metro PCS is now Metro by T-Mobile.
And blah, blah, blah.
Now you get.
Anyway, so the next movie we're going to talk about is called Goosebumps. So I just gotta wait for it to come up. Now, I saw the first one, so I don't know. It looks like they're going to do a part 2, and here we go. This is a true story, not like that First Man story, which was based on fiction. That first one was pretty good too, by the way, so this one should be good as well. This October.
It's starting to look like Halloween around here.
They have the obligatory fat kid.
I don't think this place is giving out candy.
If I'm not mistaken, this is a book series on Goosebumps, or it was a kids series, but it was too late for me to enjoy it. I was already an adult by then.
Haunted Halloween.
Did you miss me?
You discovered a walking, talking dummy and you didn't tell me?
Okay, well, he seemed like a really nice guy at the start.
We all know a walking, talking dummy.
They're moving. So tiny and cute, what can they possibly do?
Little gummy bears turn into big gummy bears.
They're just gummy bears.
So there you go. That's the third movie. So that's 3 out of 3. Now, since she's not here, I can't get her betting, but I basically wanted to show my first. Like, here's what I got from last week. Last week I had A Star is Born. I guessed it would be 25 million. She guessed it would be 30 million. I guessed Venom would be number 1 at 40 million. She guessed it would be number 2 at 25 million. Venom really blew everybody out of the water. So the Venom ended up doing, getting the chart here. So Venom ended up number 1 at 80 million. I thought it was going to do 40. It did double what I thought it was going to do. And A Star is Born did 42 million, almost 43 million. And I guessed that was going to do, what did I guess? I guessed it was going to do 25 million. So it didn't do 25 million. It did do a lot better. So based on that, I got the order right, 1 and 2, and I got the total for Venom was 80 million. I got closer to the number. I was I said 40 and she said 25. A Star is Born, I said was going to be second. It was second. She said it was going to be first, and she said 30 million. She got the prize for guessing the amount that it was going to do, but so I got basically 3 points. She got 1 point. So for the top 3, I said it was going to be Venom, A Star is Born, and Night School. She said A Star is Born, Venom, and Smallfoot. It was Venom, A Star is Born, and Smallfoot. So she almost had it right. She was only wrong by 1. So she had the first 2 reversed. But I had the first 2 right, and I had the wrong third one. So anyway, my guess for next week is Bad Time. I'm sorry. Goosebumps will do 25 million. First Man will do 20 million. And I only do that because the kids' movie may take the top spot of the week, and Bad Times will do 15 million, according to me. And then I said Venom will be number 1 in the box office, Star is Born number 2, because I think they'll continue their strength in the box office, followed by the Goosebumps movie, which will be number 3, but I don't know what her picks are because she's not here. Anyway, so that's it. That's the end of the movie, so we'll, let me close some of these windows and start with other things. I want to talk about Scott Williams, though, because Scott Williams died this week. Or not Williams, I said Williams, it's Wilson. For those of you that don't know who he is, he played the father in season 1 through, I'm not sure how many seasons it says there, from 2011 to 2014. He played the grumpy old father at the farmhouse on The Walking Dead. So he doesn't. I never saw him without his beard before, but it's kind of funny because that's the way I remember him, is with his beard. But he was in a lot of things. He had 50 film credits. I didn't realize that. He's including In the Heat of the Night, In Cold Blood, The Great Gatsby, Dead Man Walking. See, Dead Man Walking and Walking Dead. That's interesting. Pearl Harbor and Junebug. Received Golden Globe nominations for Best Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture for his role in The Ninth Configuration, which I don't think I know that either. He played the veterinarian Herschel Green on The Walking Dead from 2011 through 2014. In addition, he had a recurring role in CSI Crime Scene Investigation as a casino mogul, Sam Braun, and a lead in a Netflix series, The OA, as Abel Johnson. So that's pretty good. 50 movies is pretty, or 50 roles is pretty good, and he was 76. You know, it's kind of funny. 76 doesn't seem as old as it used to. I remember when I saw my grandfather, I thought he looked really old, but you know, it seems people are aging different nowadays, because 76 isn't what it used to be. 76 used to be really old, and now it's just, oh, he's a senior citizen. And then you look at your 50s, and these guys used to be really old, and now they look like, you know, they could do anything. So it's kind of funny when I think about that. But anyway, he had a pretty good career going. You know, his first role was in The Heat of the Night, and that was in 1967. So, you know, he pretty much ran all the way up through his death was up through 2017. What are you doing, buddy? Over there making noise. So, but anyway, yeah, he was even in the Twilight Zone episode, but that was 1986. So Elvis and the Colonel, he played Vernon Presley. Jeez, I didn't realize that. I think I saw that. So there was a lot of things that he played. He was in 32 episodes of The Walking Dead. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, he's no longer with us now, and that's kind of a shame because he was just in his prime. But yeah, I want to see him do more. I want to see them bring him back as a walker or something. Although he couldn't walk because in The Walking Dead he lost his leg, his lower half of his leg, because he got bit and they cut it off and all that fun stuff. Speaking of Walking Dead, they debuted the first of the new season this week, and it's interesting. The show has a different feel. Last season ended with the two big heads of the governments, if you want to call it that, Negan and Rick Grimes, having one last battle that we know of. Might not be a last battle, but it appears to be the last battle because they announced that Rick will be leaving the show. So, but I believe that Rick is not going to die. So that's interesting too on how they're going to use that Is Rick going to go in the helicopter? Who knows? Is Rick going to get angry at the people that he's with now and leave them? And, you know, it's just, it's interesting because they are going to have to explain why he went away and didn't die, and he may end up coming back. So, I don't know. It's interesting. It's really going to change the dynamic of the show, though, because we saw Morgan leave the show to go to the Fear the Walking Dead show, and he's kind of the focus in my eyes of that show. Now we have him there, and they teased the whole show almost that he was coming back and bringing the rest of the people with him. And at the end of the last season, he said, no, I don't think I want to do that because, you know, we can do more good on our own. So that was interesting to see them do that. And it makes you wonder. I thought they were going to combine the two shows and just ditch the one or something. But the other thing that was kind of interesting is with the Fear the Walking Dead, we now have a time perspective of where they're at as far as how the two shows are spliced together. You know, are they, you know, continuing to be, now see in this video, I stopped talking. Why is that? Anyway, so they do have an interesting perspective now that we know that they are around the same time frame. But anyway, one show is definitely better than the other. I'm wondering how they're going to handle No Rick, and they turn Maggie into somewhat of a heel. We'll see if it continues that road, or if that's the end of, you know, if she's going to mellow out now that she showed her dominance and everything. So I guess that's why I like the show. They definitely aren't afraid to kill off a major character, but in the same sense, they're developing the other characters. So anyway, all right. I want to talk about some of the things that happened. Other things that happened. First off, I mentioned Venom. So Venom is, here we go. Oh, there we go. Venom sinks the teeth into 205 million globally. So it did 80 million in the United States, and it sets the biggest October debut in worldwide and overseas international box office. So 205 million, I really didn't think it was going to do that well. I knew that it was going to do good. I just didn't really think it was going to do that well, mostly because I didn't know the character. And actually, it was much better than I thought it was going to be, and I found it very entertaining because I had no idea who Venom was. And I kept calling him, not Venom, I called him Spawn or something like that, who is another character, I guess. But anyway, it says here, update. It says here, it says Venom based on Marvel property, sunk its teeth into a coursing 205 million globally, with the biggest opening in October history worldwide, domestically and overseas. The international box office portion of Venom's bite was 125.2 million, coming in ahead of the industry projections. You know, the industry really, really, really hated that movie. I couldn't believe how bad they bashed that movie, and yet it was a good movie. So that was the interesting part, that they really thought that it was going to be a lousy movie, but it ended up being, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was entertaining. I loved that the interface between the main character and the alien, or if you want to call him that, the talking back and forth and all that stuff. And at the end, I had to ask someone who was a little more knowledgeable of Venom stuff who the small cameo was at the end. And it didn't really do me any good because I had no idea about Carnage. But whoever Carnage is, Carnage, ended up making an appearance. And at the end of the movie, they showed an extended trailer of the animated Spider-Man that'll be coming out in, I think, December. That was interesting because they did a thing where they showed Peter Parker's gravestone, and it said 2018 on it, of course, and 2018 is when he was disintegrated or whatever. So that was interesting to show. But in any case, according to this, it says, and for likes at today's rates, the Venom bested in in the openings of Doctor Strange, which was 20% higher. Ant and the Wasp was 32% higher than that, and Wonder Woman is 38% higher. The 5-day 16.4 bow of Venom in Korea, a discerning hero market, has already surpassed the lifetime of Captain America, the First Avenger, Justice League, Suicide Squad, and Wonder Woman. Who would have thought that Korea would even have a big movie market? I would have thought that that their movie market would be limited to like really old movies, but I guess I'm wrong about that. I never would have imagined that being a market. The other majors to release this frame included Russia at 13.6 to top the full runs of Ant-Man and the Wasp, First Avenger, Justice League, Wonder Woman. In the UK, the Ruben Fleischer helmed anti-hero pick was number one with 10.5 million. This is all together. I mean, we're talking about United States. We did 80 million, so I guess we're the biggest piece of that at all. But there's a lot of these countries that I never would have imagined getting that kind of a piece of the pie. So I just thought that was interesting that the the different places like China. China's one of the biggest markets. So the other major opener was Warner Brothers' A Star Is Born, the Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga star. It's rolling out with a staggering pattern. I really thought that was going to be a closer number between the two movies, but I knew Venom was going to win, but I didn't think it would double what A Star Is Born would do. It actually was so good. I was really, really impressed with the way that movie was. So it was a really, really good movie. It was well done. Bradley Cooper, I continue to hate him because he's not only good looking, a talented actor, he's also the producer of this film, and he also plays guitar. He wrote some of the songs that was in the movie, so I have lots of reasons to dislike him. So I can't stand it. He is so talented that, but anyway, regardless, it is what it is. He's more talented than I am, unfortunately, and I can't do anything about his talent. He just shouldn't be that good. It says Venom defies bad reviews and breaks October box office record anyway. I don't know why they would say it was such a bad movie, because it had a plot. It spelled out the plot. Everything was pretty well laid out, I thought. I didn't think there was anything that they did terribly wrong, other than the fact that Venom will eat somebody's brains out. I mean, what's a few brains here and there? So I just thought it was interesting that was the case of that. But they seem to think that I think Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, here it is. Venom carries a terrible 32% on Rotten Tomatoes and scored a record-breaking $80 million at the box office anyway. I've rarely agreed with Rotten Tomatoes. I just don't know where they come up with their reviews. people want to see superheroes. Well, anti-superheroes, I don't know. Kind of superhero-ish. But, you know, it might be a superhero. He might be a superhero. It was funny because I had no idea what I was getting into with that movie. And that movie delivered, so. Bradley Cooper, I knew what I was getting into, but he still shined. Shined very well. I want to see Venom versus Bradley Cooper. See who wins. I want to see if Venom goes and sucks his brains out. So, who knows? It may happen. Stranger things have happened. But anyway, I like Bradley Cooper anyway. I bust on him, but I'm just jealous of all his success. Okay, anyway, let's move on. So that's my 2 stories for Venom. And we'll move on to the next one. This is a surprise to me. But, once again, oh shoot, where is it? Alright. Okay, they teased me here. Hold on. Gotta find out where it's at. Scrolled. I had well, I guess I could just talk about it, but I really wanted to show something. I had an article from this site, and it was on Tiger Woods. Let's see. Do we got it? All right. There was an article. Wait, here it is. Here it is. Yeah. Tiger wins successful money titles first since... Oh, no, that's Thomas wins. Where's the... Anyway, Tiger Woods won something this weekend, and I wanted to... My link doesn't work. So that kind of sucks. Tiger Woods, where are you at? Tiger Woods, where are you at? I know. Here it is. Come back. Alright, this should work, hopefully. I actually had this from a different website and it didn't come up. It says, Flash, oh, that's a flashback. Yeah, Woods and, alright, the final round. It says here, watch the key moments where Tiger Woods and Brooks Koepka at the 2018 PGA Championships final battles, where Woods just missed winning the 15th major, and Koepka won his 3rd major title. So Tiger Woods is on his way back. It's been a long time since he's actually done really well, and it sounds like he's actually going to maybe do well all of a sudden. We'll see what happens. We'll see if he continues his way, but it seems like he went for a long time without winning anything, and now all of a sudden we're seeing him back in the limelight, and hopefully, you know, he's a young guy overall. I mean, I'm thinking he's somewhere in his 40s. Might be wrong about that, but or maybe late 30s. Actually, let's see how old he is. Looks like 42. All right. So he's, you know, I remember seeing him when he was a young kid. I remember when he was like 18 or so, and he was doing so well. And it was so weird to think of all the things that he had going against him in the past couple of years. You know, he lost his wife. Well, didn't lose his wife. He lost, lost the, probably $500 million to his wife and his house and all that. But, and in case you wondered, his name is Eldrick Tonti Tiger Woods. Tiger being obviously not a real name. But, yeah, he did really well. And I mean, as long as I can remember, he was like unbeatable. He'd play and everybody would win and like nobody else had a chance. And after he went through this divorce, it just started, you know, it says here, Woods has won 80 official PGA tour events, including 14 majors. He's 14-1 when going into the final round of a major with at least a share of the multiple golf experts. They've heralded Woods as the greatest closer in history. He owns the lowest career scoring average and the most career earnings of any player in PGA Tour history. So, it says here, his victory in 2013 marked the 300th tour start. He also won golf tournaments in the 100th in 2000 and the 200th in 2008 tours. So, he's made a lot of money. It says, according to Golf Digest, he's made $769,000. No. Yeah, maybe. No, that can't be right. $769 million. That's just amazing. What would you do with $769 million? I'd love to know that. I'd love to know what. I mean, I could get away with a couple million, but I don't know. It says here, Forbes confirmed that he was indeed the world's first athlete to earn over $1 billion in his career after accounting for the $10 million bonus he received for the FedEx Cup. The same year, he estimated his net worth of $600 million, masking him as the second richest person of color in the United States behind only Oprah Winfrey. That's just a lot of money. It's obscene. You could run a small country on that. So, anyway, that's Woods, and I'm sticking to it. So, all right. There's two more entertainment things I want to talk about. I got one. I'll talk about the McGregor thing. So, Conor McGregor, he's a UFC fighter, in case you live under a rock. He has caused all kinds of trouble. He ended up damaging a bus and caused all kinds of trouble. He was also the one that went against the one boxer in a mixed fight. And anyway, he was in a fight with this Khabib from, I thought he was from Russia. And the end of the show, or the end of the match, shows Khabib, I believe, actually beating him. And then there was a big fight that happened after.
Do you need the most trusted battery in your wireless mouse?
No, I don't. Anyway, so during this fight, his manager or someone ended up jumping over the octagon, and it caused all kinds of trouble. So we'll see if we can watch this and make out what it did. But it was a really big controversy. So let's see if we got it here.
There was a wild scene tonight at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas after the main event of UFC 229. Khabib Nurmagomedov submitted Conor McGregor in the fourth round to retain his lightweight championship, but then vaulted over the cage to attack McGregor teammate Dylan Dennis. A wild melee ensued, and 3 members of Nurmagomedov's team was arrested. 2 guys I saw went into the cage and punched Conor McGregor, who was inside the cage while the melee was taking place outside. According to Dana White, and this is unconfirmed, but 3 members of his team have been taken into custody by Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officers. Khabib dominated the fight. He had Conor on his back for much of the first and second round. Conor fought a better fight in the third round and kept the fight standing, although he didn't really land too much. Khabib actually knocked Conor down in the second round. In the fourth round, he got him down on the ground, quickly got his back, and put in the rear naked choke.
I wonder if that's it for Conor. I mean, he should have, shouldn't have lost that fight by that bad, but if he lost it that bad and in the fourth round, I don't know. I have some opinions of this after I'm done with this clip.
Very quickly. It was after that that all the fireworks began.
So what we're told, or the things we're told here, is that okay, I'm pushing the button. Why isn't it doing anything? There we go. So it makes me wonder why it happened that way. So UFC has always been a legitimate fighting thing, and they don't really want to taint that, I would think. However, I'm told that their numbers are down, and things like this lead me to think that maybe it is part of it is something they've learned from the WWE. Sensationalism tends to cause people to want to watch events like this. So it makes me think that there might be something more to it than what we see. I'm really seriously considering that, because, I mean, never before has there been anything like this happening. So I kind of want to wonder if it was just to make people buy the pay-per-view. I mean, none of the guys, they're not pressing charges against any of the guys that participated in the fight. And this is one fight that's really odd because usually McGregor's the bad guy. This time McGregor got taken down by a worse guy, and it makes me wonder what really was going on there, because that isn't the kind of thing that I would expect out of UFC. So I don't know. I just, being from a wrestling background, I'm a little more skeptical than a lot of people are. It could be legit, but maybe not. So I don't know. I'm just wondering. Maybe. Anyway, of course, this month is Halloween, and there are some wild costumes out there. Here are the best costumes from 2018 New York Comic Con, and this could be something you could be. I was thinking I could be Mike Trash. Well, it's not enough to be him every day. And sometimes you want to be someone else. But these are the best costumes that that Comic-Con had to offer. So as soon as this thing comes up here, I will switch over. All right, here we go. We've got the costumes of, looks like Star Wars. I guess that's the young Han Solo, and not really sure who the other guy is. We've got, I guess that's Skeletor. Skeletor and Evil Lyn. Okay, Han Solo and Luke, and an older Luke Skywalker. Okay, so good, we got captions. Looks like Tina Turner. This one's really funny. Spider-Man villain Mysterio. Some people put a lot of time and effort into these costumes. I don't think I have either the time or the effort. Fan shows off a massive robot on stage. I wonder if that's the guy that was in America's Got Talent that had the robot outfit. I don't know if that was last year or this year. Here's a guy that wanted to be, is that Cyber, what do they call him? Yeah, Cyborg. Yeah. So you could see that. Then we got the Joker, and of course we got Harley Quinn, Catwoman. I don't know who that is. I mean, it can't be as excessive. I don't know who they are, is it? Heimdall from the Thor movie. This is, I don't know who that is. Marvel Comics. Oh, that's supposed to be Cable. All right. Then we've got Brainiac. I mean, they really put a lot of time and effort and money into these things, so I don't want to down anybody for that, because I certainly wouldn't have put that kind of effort into it. Nightwing, Spider-Man, and Deadpool. We got Starfire. I don't even know who the Teen Titans are. Spider-Man. Oh, okay. Spider-Man villain Carnage. Well, that's the guy that was at the end of that one movie. Then we got Groot. That is a good Groot. I got to say, that Groot is probably my favorite one so far. We have Green Arrow and Arsenal. Man, I'm telling you, these people got a lot of money or time. Iron Man. Cosplayer poses with giant sword outside the Javits Center. I don't know. These people, they must not have jobs. Cosplayer poses in elaborate costume. Even you don't know who it is. That's funny. Corvus Glaive of the film Infinity War. Just a group of costume freaks. And Spider-Man. A massive robot outfit. A band performs outside New York Comic-Con. It's funny that one guy is dressed like Luigi and Mario. And oh, man. I like it. Hela of the Thor franchise. Oh, there's a Wonder Woman. These people definitely put a lot of effort. Gamora. The Lego. It says Assassin's Creed and giant Lego Spider-Man. There's a new Lego movie coming out. That's going to be interesting. I like the other Lego movies, and I'm sure it's going to be just as good. Cinderella. Then we got Loki, Hela in the back, and Thor's in the foreground. And Slender Man. Then we got Mega Man, Deadpool, Hybrid. I don't see Deadpool anywhere. And Frank from the film Donnie Darko. Then we got Michael Myers. You got that movie coming out in a couple of weeks. Black Canary. We got, Moana. Okay, that's who it's from. Okay. Spawn. Got a comedian from Watchmen. How many freaking pictures is it? Javis. No, a van strikes a pose. Is that Jesus? Yes, it is. And we got Poison Ivy. We got Bane. We got the mother from Incredibles. Superman, Supergirl, and The Flash. Well, The Flash is really tall in this one. Epic Wonder Woman costume. They got a cosplay repair person. Oh, that's funny. Elaborate dragon costume. Giant winged cosplay. That's just amazing, the amount of time and effort these people put into their costumes. I couldn't even do that. I mean, I'm lucky if I wear anything. Although last year I dressed up. I had these little solar panels that I made, and I took the solar panels and I put them on my shirt, and I wore a farmer's hat, and basically the farmer's hat had solar panels on it. I had solar panels all over my shirt, and I was just basically a solar farmer. So some people got it, some people didn't get it. Didn't go over as well as I had hoped it would go over, but it was okay. I thought it would be funny because I actually wanted to do that a couple years ago, and I didn't end up doing it that way because I ended up being somebody else. I think I was Little Red Riding Hood that year, and the person I went with was the wolf. So it was kind of fun. I like to do things unexpected. I ended up winning that year for the first time in the history of Halloween costumes. I won something. And why did I win? And I won it for Little Red Riding Hood, but it wasn't what you would think. I won it for scariest costume. I was I thought it was sad that they thought I was scary. I kind of thought I was cute, but not really. Anyway, all right, so that's that. I guess, let's see what we can do here. Okay, so we did that. Oh, this was another story. Yeah, I will do this story. So we had a college student that apparently was a little troubled. And he was 21. His name was Marquis Brown. And it was a really strange story. Let me play this for you. I think it is worth watching it. Hopefully. Why didn't you switch over? There we go. It's so weird.
Ratier Hall stunned students on the Duquesne University campus.
I was definitely scared for the situation. It was obviously a really scary situation, and I was really freaked out. I feel so sorry for this guy's friends and family.
Duquesne University's president Ken Gormley calls the death of Marquise Brown a tragedy. Gormley asked the campus community to join in prayers for Brown, his family, and friends.
But our professors and faculty are being really good about letting everybody know that the support and the care is there, and they don't want anybody to go through this alone.
So here's the deal. The guy, he was a Duquesne football player. So he died because he jumped out of a 16-story window. And to me, that was so weird to think about. Why would, apparently the police were after him, but is it worth your life for that? I just think that it wouldn't be worth it. But anyway, this is, all right, where were we?
Brown was a running back, number 40 on the team. You see him highlighted here in our video and in this Duquesne University provided still photo. The junior came to here from Washington, D.C.
Just taking everything in, it's upsetting just because he was a big part of the community. It's heartbreaking, really.
The tragic death comes as Duquesne University is entering its homecoming weekend with a homecoming game set for Saturday. The university says counselors are available for any student, faculty, or staff in need of support.
Really, life is precious to everybody, and we need to appreciate and cherish that. So when a student's life ends that way, it is tragic.
A memorial service is being planned for Sunday. Initial word seems to be that it will be for the university community, not open for the public or to the news media.
So the weird thing about it was that I'm not really sure why he did die, because okay, the story, now that was the video portion of the story. Now let me tell you about what another site said. So it says college football player 21 jumped 16 stories to his death from a dorm window after police responded to a disturbance in the halls. Marquis Brown, 21, jumped 16 stories to his death Thursday. He was a football player at Duquesne University in Pittsburgh. Police were responding to a disturbance in the residence hall around 10:30. He was reportedly being questioned by campus police when he jumped. So there's got to be something more to this than him just jumping. What was the reason why they were questioning? Campus police were questioning Brown in Brodier Hall in response to an altercation on the 16th floor when he jumped. It is with great sadness. Now, he jumped from the 16th floor, which was a long way down. Basically, in the picture, if you're watching the video, it's where this red mark is on there, and I can't even imagine why he would have jumped. I mean, what's that bad that you had to kill yourself for? I mean, there's no way he thought he was going to live from a 16th floor jump, at least not that I know of. Just is such a shame and a loss of life for what? What was it? You know, I just don't understand. I can't really fathom killing myself for what? You know, even if he did something wrong, let's assume he did something. Say he was drinking and he's not supposed to drink, or he was doing drugs, or he was selling drugs, or anything like that. To jump out of a freaking building 16 stories high, I just don't understand. You know, he had to know he was going to die. Unless he thought he was, you know, Superman or something. I don't know. It's just really sad. You know, I see this, and I keep trying to comprehend why somebody would kill themselves over that, you know, how bad could it have been? So you spend a couple days in jail or whatever, you know. Just doesn't make sense to me why somebody would kill themselves over what? Over what? Why did he die? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. So I just don't get it. So, but anyway, it is what it is. So, such a waste of life. Oops, what I do here? So, anyway. All right, that's the end of the well, I got one more entertainment. Oh, what did I do with it? Hold on. What did I do with that? Doggone it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, we got another niche today, and I really think it's good. I like the stuff he does. He's been doing some reports for us and coming up with topics that are really, really good, and has to do with a movie that's coming out in a couple weeks, and has to do with Creed, which I should say Creed 2. And I like his perspective on this, so I'm just going to play it for you, since I figure out how I want to play it here. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm going to play this because I can. So, here you go, I think. Waiting to see if it plays. Come on, play. Here we go.
Hey guys, it's Nietzsche. How's it going? So last week I talked about Murphy Brown returning to the airwaves, how far that series may go this time around, will it be a success. Now I want to get into another, not series, but a movie franchise that is going to debut the night before Thanksgiving and has already done many sequels, but kind of reestablished itself as like a different type of franchise, and that's the movie Creed 2. It's a spin-off from the Rocky movies. Sylvester Stallone is a trainer in the movie, and he kind of plays a supporting role. But what's interesting about Creed 2 is we are going to finally see the return of Ivan Drago, played by Dolph Lundgren, who would fight Rocky in Rocky IV. He would lose to Rocky in 15 rounds. But what he was most famous for in that movie was boxing Apollo Creed and actually killing the character Apollo Creed during that fight. The whole movie is Creed because it's Apollo's illegitimate son. Apollo never met him. Apollo had died before he ever knew that kid was his son. Apollo's wife took on the role as mother for that child for years. It's basically the only mother he's known. So there's so many elements going into Creed 2. The biggest one is obviously the return of Dolph Lundgren. You know, if you watched all the Rocky franchises, I would say 1, 2, and 3 were my favorites. I liked 4 a lot, but 4 actually was the one that grossed the most money out of all the Rocky series. It practically killed it at the box office. And I think it did because there was that element of Russia versus USA, because back then times were really, really intense between both countries. They weren't really friends back then. I mean, it was a really tough time. You could think about Russia. They were battling with Afghanistan. I mean, I don't want to get into all of that. You took a chance touching that topic. There were a lot of sensitive people back then about the war that was going on and stuff. So it was really interesting that they went that route. But Dolph Lundgren's character, Ivan Drago, he came across as like the ultimate heel in that movie, big-time villain, because if you watch the Apollo Creed fight, he was dominating him. He did not have to kill him like he did. He went for the kill. He was out to prove a point. And what was really not realistic about that movie was, no offense to Rocky, and I love Rocky, but he was 34, 35 years old when he fought Drago, and Drago was just a young kid, maybe 22, maybe 23. I don't even know if he was that old. And he knocked Rocky down about 5 times in that fight. In any boxing fight that was realistic, that fight would have been stopped. It went 15 rounds, and of course, you know, the old Rocky comeback, he got him in the 15th round. You saw a little decency out of Drago during the fight. He sort of gained Rocky's respect. Rocky kind of gained his respect in that fight, I should say. You saw the way Rocky was hitting him, and he really knew he had a tough opponent. And then right before they went out for the 15th round, they hit gloves, and he said to him till the end. So he had started to have respect for him. But the point I make, it's going to be interesting to see how they do this movie, because Drago really had no remorse back then. He had no remorse for Apollo. And I can tell you right now, it's going to be easy to redeem that character, because you got to ask yourself, now, Apollo's son never knew Apollo. There's got to be some resentment there at the fact that this guy killed his father, and the reason he never got to know his father is because his father wasn't alive. Maybe down the road he would have got to know him if not for this fight. And Drago had no remorse. I mean, he basically used the famous line, if he dies, he dies. But then you also got to consider Apollo's wife, because she had to sit in the front row and watch her husband die because of this guy. This guy basically did not show any remorse, as I said. He did not let up. He went for the kill, and he killed him, and there was no remorse there whatsoever. He had a look of, oh, well, he died, too bad. 33 years later, I'm sure that scar is still there, and she hasn't forgotten. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all comes about. I would assume Drago is going to be training somebody that's going to fight Creed. But you ask yourself, will Drago and Rocky, how will they interact? Will Drago still be the jerk he was then? Because, like nothing else, time heals wounds, but as you get older, you become a different person sometimes. You become a better person. But are they going to make him the stone-cold guy again, or is he going to actually have some decency of him? Will he have regret for killing Apollo? I think that's a lot of the stuff that the fans are going to really be interested to see. And I think it's going to be a great movie because you really want to see how this is all going to unfold. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, they want an explanation for why he had to go and kill Apollo. There was no need for it. A lot of people could look at Rocky for not stopping the fight, kept telling him to throw in the towel, but Apollo told him not to stop it no matter what, and I think he was trying to be loyal to his friend, so he thought with his heart instead of his head. There's so many elements to this movie that's going to really make it unique, and you just have to wonder how they're going to plan it all out. the thing I will say is sometimes I get disappointed, and I've told you this before. They kind of make these characters have redeeming qualities, and you see a good side of them at the end of the movie. And then when they do a remake or redo a show, they make that person a jackass again. So that kind of disappoints me. Like I mentioned, I'll talk about Cobra Kai another time, but I think they're trying to make Johnny a decent person, but kind of comes across as still bitter over Danny LaRusso. When that movie ended, he had nothing but respect for Danny LaRusso. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do this. But I got to tell you,
I want to say something about that. I saw the Cobra Kai thing, and I really liked the Cobra Kai thing. And they are trying to make, they made Danny into, it's funny because that movie was, or that TV show was written really well, because you like Johnny in one scene, then you hate Johnny in the next scene, and then you like him, and then you hate him. And the same with Danny. No matter what they do with it, they keep playing with your head as to who's the good guy and who's the bad guy here, because it keeps changing. So that writing has been really, really well done. And I saw the first Creed, and I liked how well that written that was, but Stallone doesn't ever let me down on that. You get a pretty good show whenever he's involved in it, even as corny as some of the stuff is that he's put together. I really feel that they're going to put together a good show with this Creed thing, because I really think that he has a good idea of what sells, and I really think that without a doubt nobody's going to be disappointed by it. So anyway, let me continue this with...
Yeah, the first Creed killed it. It was great. It was a great movie, great writing. Stallone was awesome. Everything about it was a great movie. And I just hope this time around they don't screw it up, because you could really make a great movie out of this. A lot of people could be leaving that movie theater wanting to see it again. He messed up with Rocky V. It was terrible. So he went out and he came out with Rocky Balboa back in 2006. And it was just such a great movie. And the ending was so great. I went and saw it 2 more times in the theater. And I've never done that, ever. That big Titanic movie that came out, people were seeing that 5 or 6 times. I saw it once, and I never saw it again, because I just couldn't go back and sit through 3 hours of that again. I feel that way leaving this movie. I really hope that I want to go back and see it again. But I will go and see it the night it comes out. And I don't go to a lot of movies that much anymore. You know, I'm more of the classics. You know, I have trouble watching these new movies because there's just, and I get it, the technology world is so different now, and they make the movies off the charts, but I just can't get into that type of stuff. So I don't really go to a lot of movies anymore. But I will go to this one because, again, I was a big fan of that Rocky series. I'm a big fan of Stallone. I think Stallone, you know, sometimes he gets overlooked sometimes. That guy's a phenomenal actor, and he has really played this Rocky character for all it's worth. And, I mean, to me, that Rocky character is an iconic character. I think that's the type of... They still have the statue up in Philly. I mean, they put Stallone in the Boxing Hall of Fame. I mean, definitely, because Drago...
One of the things I liked about, he was saying about the Rocky statue, the thing that I like about the Rocky franchise is if you ever go, there's a cemetery down there in Philly that has the Adrian grave. And there's not only the Adrian grave, there is a chair by the grave so that you can see him sitting there. I think it's awesome because you get the feel like someone actually goes there and sits there while she, sits there while they, they take the chair off the tree, and they can sit there and talk to Adrian. So it's just the same. I mean, it's just like the movie. I mean, the movie was filmed there, and they have that little spot there. It just cracks me up because I went down there one time, And when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is where they filmed the scenes of him talking to his wife, Adrian. So I just wanted to interject that. But it says here, Creed is the best Rocky movie since the original. That was on the last Creed. This next Creed is going to be just as good, and I love what they're doing with it. I think it's awesome how they're building him as the Rocky character, kind of to keep the legacy going. I mean, there's no way that Stallone can continue fighting anymore because he's in his, what, he's probably 70-ish. At least he's in his late 60s, so I really see that is one way he could continue the franchise.
I think they're trying to make Johnny a decent person, but kind of comes across so great. I went and saw it 2 more times in the theater, and I've never go to a lot of movies anymore. But I will go to this one because, again, I was a big fan of that Rocky series. I'm a big fan of Stallone. I think Stallone, you know, sometimes he gets overlooked sometimes. That guy's a phenomenal actor, and he has really played this Rocky character for all it's worth. And, I mean, to me, that Rocky character is an iconic character. I think that's the type of they still have the statue up in Philly. I mean, they put Stallone in the boxing hall of fame. I mean, that character is an iconic character and one that you never get tired of seeing. And that's all because of what Stallone does with that character. He's just a phenomenal actor. And I really hope that they make this movie as good as it possibly can be. And if you think about it, if there was no Rocky IV, who knows what kind of career Dolph Lundgren would have had, because that career put him on the map.
I also think that the character that they chose for Creed was great, is great. Michael B. Jordan is a fantastic actor. In fact, he was in Black Panther. He was the bad guy in Black Panther, and I've seen him in a lot of different things, and I think he's got a great future ahead of him. I think that this is a great role for him.
He's done a ton of movies since then because of that movie. He proved he could be a good villain, so he's played a lot of villains in movies. He's actually played a lot of good guys, too. But that movie really, you know, kind of made him. And I just hope that they hit a home run here.
In fact, he's played in a couple of a couple of Stallone's Expendable movies, too, I think, which kind of was interesting to see him as kind of a good guy. But I don't know if you would consider him a good guy in that or not, but he's kind of like a good guy in that. But, yeah, that was one of the things I liked about him is that he's just a huge guy. He just, you know, there aren't a lot of big guys like that can move and can, you know, be threatening. And I think he does the job right. Anyway.
I really do. I hope it's not disappointing. I don't expect it to be. I really expect them to do a great job with this. But at the same time, you can never be sure. There's always that maybe the way you think it should be won't be the way they'll do it. They'll do it on a totally different way. And I just hope that's fine. I don't expect me to be see the future and see how they're going to do it. But I just hope that no matter what happens, it's a great movie and a movie that we'll be talking about years from now. As far as next week's show goes, I was going to discuss, but I'm going to let you guys decide which one you would rather me talk about. Now, I was going to talk about the whole history of the Beatles and what if John Lennon hadn't died and all that stuff. Just think about what could happen. Or I was going to talk about who was better when it came to the group Genesis. Was it Peter Gabriel or was it Phil Collins? You know, that's always been a fascinating topic for me because I have my theory on it. I don't want to give it away yet, but I'm interested to see what other people think. So you let me know which one you want me to do. Or if you don't want me to do anything and you just want me to not call, that's fine too. But whatever you want, let me know. Have a good week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, that was Nietzsche's report on Creed. Creed 2 will be out, I think, in the next couple weeks, too. It should be pretty good. Should be a pretty good movie, I think. So definitely looking forward to seeing that. It should be interesting. Let's see. I need to figure out. Let me get this together. So this is done now. And now I can get rid of this file. Hopefully. No. All right, it's not letting me get rid of it. Why is that? That's weird. That's really strange. Okay. All right, we'll move on to the next thing. All right. My next thing is this. All right. This is bizarre stuff. I've been hearing this really... You know, you think that it's safe, just when you think it's safe to go into a pool, it just isn't. Here's what we got. Surfer dies from brain-eating amoeba after visiting Texas wave pool. Now, you would think that a wave pool would be fairly, you know, they throw chemicals in a wave pool. They're, you would think it would be safe. And yet, that isn't the way that it is sometimes, because this person here is not really doing well. I mean, he died because of being in that pool. And he was only 29. You would think that that wouldn't be the case, because a 29-year-old should not be dying over that. It says 29-year-old New Jersey surfer has died from a brain-eating amoeba just days after visiting a wave pool at a Texas resort. Fabrizio Stabile tested positive for Algeria Valeri, which destroys brain tissue and has a fatality rate of more than 97%. That's a pretty high rate. The day before his death last week, according to his GoFundMe page launched by his friends and family, Stable reportedly began experiencing severe headaches after he returned home from his trip, and soon was rushed to the hospital, unable to speak or move. The wave pool at the BSR Surf Resort has reportedly been closed. So how do they know that it's from this wave pool? I mean, that's really kind of like, did other people have problems there? It doesn't say that other people had problems there. It just says that reportedly he was in this wave pool. But even though, I mean, it's just thinking about, you go vacationing and thinking that you're going to have a good time, and it seemed to be like any other wave pool, and it destroys his brain tissue. That's such a weird thing to have happen. And at 29, I mean, the kid barely got to use his life, you know. So that was a weird story to run across. I just thought, wow, that you know, you don't expect that kind of thing to happen to a guy that age, you know. But unfortunately, it did. It happened to him. So yeah, kind of weird. Here we go. It says incompetent. As soon as it comes in. So a bride was less than thrilled with her wedding planner. She decided to share her grievances on the company's Facebook page, but probably didn't expect that the planner would clap back and dub her bridezilla, airing her own dirty laundry to boot. So, you know, you think when you're spending money for a wedding, you would get good service. You would think that that wouldn't be an issue. But nowadays, when somebody complains, you got to be prepared that they'll complain back. And, you know, social media can be a good thing and a bad thing. So this person here, it turned out to be a bad thing. And it says incompetent bride and rude, where is it? Here it is. Rude event planner face off in public, facing shaming over wedding. So, you know, you would think that that wouldn't be an issue, but in today's world, everything's an issue. So, here's the video on it, and let's see what happens with this. It says here, oh, loud. It says a disgruntled bride decided to take Facebook to air her grievances with a wedding planner, provoking spirited response in a public post. The bride wrote on Facebook, "They suck and they're so rude. They rushed us to do the bouquet toss when we weren't even ready to do it yet. Save yourself some stress." But the planner didn't take the negative review lying down. The company listed its credentials, stating it had never had an issue before. Then the public shaming started. Until your wedding rolled our calendar, we had never had to deal with such an incompetent, disgruntled, and evasive groom. Evasive groom? Oh, evasive bride-groom client. The guest at the wedding waited 2 hours for the bride and groom to arrive. That's why the reception was rushed. Wow. The company's Facebook was deleted after the post went viral. I guess that backfired in her face a little bit. I don't know. It's kind of weird. What a weird thing, because you're paying these people money. And I don't know which side's right there, because if the bride and groom were 2 hours later, that pushed off their time that they have rented that room. You know, it says here they conducted over 360 events and worked well with over 200 brides and had nothing but the great events and satisfied customers and hundreds of referrals in their 10 years of business. Until your wedding rolled around on our calendar, we've never had to deal with such an incompetent, discourteous, and evasive bride-groom client, and have never felt that getting paid was going to be an issue. Again, we were disgraced with your wedding. We spoke to several of your vendors from that day and mentioned all the issues about getting paid correctly and our time per their contracts. We had spent several days instructing you where and how to pay us, as if you never experienced a monetary transaction in your youthful, immature existence, which you contractually agreed to in writing and lied to us multiple occasions as to when and how the payment was coming through. You know, this is a decade or time of everybody has an opinion and everybody should share their opinion, and everybody has the right to bash everybody else until they're proven they're wrong. I don't know. I kind of keep to myself, and I try not to bash anybody. I think that social media can be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't use it as a bad thing. I use it as the radio show or promoting my band or, you know, networking in the different areas. But I try my best to keep a positive attitude on everything that I do. And just kind of, I mean, I may be, I might be one of the few that do that, but I think that it's important to keep a positive profile. So I also tell everybody else that, you know, keep your personal stuff off of there. You know, the people that, I think it's funny, people that write stupid things like, I give up, and that's all they do. You give up what? You know, they want people to say, oh, what's wrong? Is everything okay? I hate that. Say what you want to say. You know, one thing I always hate is when someone says, can I ask you a question? Well, you just asked me a question. You can obviously ask me a question because you just did. Just ask the question. You know, I just hate people that do that. They just just ask the question. If there's a question you want to ask, don't ask me for permission to ask me a question. So, I don't know. I hate when people do that. It just drives me nuts. But, you know, sometimes it's a short drive to make me nuts. Other times, you know. Trying to close some of these windows because I don't like to have these tons of windows. Yeah. Oh, this is funny. This is kind of strange and funny at the same time. People like to dress their pets up. And I wouldn't do that to my dog. I like my dog too much. But it's okay to dress your kids up. And this is the funniest thing I've seen. Here is a family who dressed their little kids in little kids win Halloween with a Slinky dog costume. So this is definitely funny. Oops, why don't I have sound? I should have sound. All right. Let's have sound here. Okay, hold on. Ah, that's why. All right, we'll bring this back here. All right. Here we go. We'll get sound whether we like it or not. Here we go.
You got a daily click for us?
I do. Fans of Toy Story have grown to know and love the adorable character Slinky. He's a dog whose front and back ends are held together by an actual, there you go, by the Slinky, and his torso stretches and makes a clanking sound as he walks. It's adorable. Well, one father took his love for the Slinky and created a custom costume for his son and niece. Check out Beckham and Audrey. They both just turned 1, and they're already crushing the Halloween game right there.
Adorable.
They showed up in a costume at Disneyland, and people were freaking out. They couldn't get enough of it. How good is that?
They won contests. I love it. That is.
If you're listening to this, it's the Slinky dog from Toy Story. To me, that's funny as anything. That they would have. They would take the time to turn it into a costume, and I just loved that. That to me was awesome. So, if you're looking for an idea for a costume, you too could have a Slinky costume, and just funny. Some people have a good sense of humor. Now I got to figure out. Okay, there we go. All right. So, yeah, I definitely like that. That costume was good. I should make one of those for... Well, the problem is I'm single, so I can't really make a costume like that for me and another person because I don't have another person. So, anyway. All right. On to the next story. The costume. Let's see. That one's done. Then we got... Oh, this is really, really sad. Horrific. At least 20 killed after a limousine crashed in New York. This is just bizarre thing. And they're finding out more and more every day on this. This is just horrible that it happened, and all these people died. And the safety of the vehicle was in question at this point, definitely. Federal officials say the crash was the deadliest in the United States in nearly a decade. So these people were on their way to a party. It says 20 people were killed in a stretch limousine, crashed into another vehicle in the parking lot of a crowded store in upstate New York, in what federal authorities are calling the deadliest crash, U.S. crash in nearly a decade. Police said that just before 2 p.m., they received reports of a crash involving 2 vehicles about 30 miles west of Albany. Authorities said 2001 Ford Excursion limousine traveling southwest on Route 30 failed to stop at an intersection with Route 30A and flew into the parking lot of a nearby Apple Barrow County store and cafe. Limousine struck an unoccupied 2015 Toyota Highlander. New York Police First Deputy Superintendent Christopher Fiore said at a news conference 2 pedestrians were standing in a nearby area and were fatally struck. So not only were the 18 people in the vehicle killed, but they also killed 2 people on top of all that. Police said everyone inside the limousine, including the driver, died in the crash. So what a weird situation that happened. Who would have thought? I mean, geez, you think that when you're renting a limousine, you're going to get a situation where, you know, you can go out drinking, don't have to worry about getting pulled over or anything like that. But I don't know. It says the limousine blew past the stop sign at speeds of upward of 60 miles an hour. So it's kind of weird. It says here they outlawed heavy trucks because of the hill in recent years because instances when runaway trucks lost their ability to break down the steep grade. Said the limo was driving out-of-towners during the busy weekend Stone Fort days. If someone's new to the area and not familiar with the area, I can see how easy it would be to miss that if you're coming down to the T intersection. 20 fatalities is just horrific. It's just unbelievable. Yeah, just kind of strange to think about it because here it says Valerie Abeling confirmed that her 34-year-old niece, Erin McGowan, and her new husband, Shane McGowan, 30, were among the 20 people killed. The couple were married in June. So just imagine, you just get married, you think you're going to have a happy life, and 3 months later, you're dead. So I can't even imagine. And I have another article here that, this is the second article. It's the same thing. It shows pictures of the, couple pictures. It says 20 dead in crash of limo headed to a birthday celebration. Had to be a horrible celebration since everyone died. Limousine carrying 4 sisters, other relatives, and friends to a birthday celebration blew through a stop sign, slammed into a parked SUV outside a store in uptown New York, killing all 18 people and 2 pedestrians. Just is hard to believe that happened. So I don't know. It just blows me away that a situation like that. I mean, again, you spend the money to buy so that you can go out drinking, and you end up dying because, you know, they just blew through a stop sign and sucks. Anyway, so I guess there's been an earthquake in Haiti. Seems like a lot of disasters going on. In fact, there's another, well, we'll talk about that in a few seconds. Haiti earthquake, rocked by a devastating quake, 14 dead. So Haiti, let me see here if we can get this to play. Let's see. Well, go ahead and play. I'll continue and accept all. What am I accepting? See, this is a strange milk commercial about an earthquake. All right. Can we get past this? Guess I can tweak this a while in the meantime. All right. All right, what's going on here?
Time in the northwestern sections of Haiti, and what we're starting to see here is that there was no major damage, but there are reports of some moderate damage across this area. The good news is that there was no tsunami warning, according to the Haitian Civil Protection Agency. There have already been about 2 aftershocks felt in the Port-de-Paix region, and this is a breakdown of the population that felt the shaking. Now you can see the majority of people felt either moderate to light shaking, but there was about 50,000 individuals that would have felt strong shaking from this particular earthquake. The population here resides in structures that are vulnerable to shaking, so wood structures that could easily be damaged from a 5.9 magnitude earthquake. And we also have this pager data that we often reference to. This is from the USGS. What it does is it compares previous earthquakes of similar magnitude and depth and compares the potential for fatalities. And according to this, it's that yellow data that gives it a 35% probability of fatalities, somewhere between 10 and 100.
They seem to have a lot of issues down there between flooding and earthquakes and all that. You know, it's maybe better weather, but they also have a lot of more natural disasters down that way.
Of course, that is sure to be, or it has to be confirmed here, of course, and this is all speculation, but this is what the potential exists with this size and magnitude of an earthquake.
Just a weird thing. I'm thankful that I'm up here. In fact, there's a hurricane, I believe it's Hurricane Michael, named after me, that's presently building up down in the Florida region again. Seems they can't catch a break. Didn't they? I think it was about a year ago that they had some major flooding and stuff. So, yeah, it was weird. Here's a really strange thing. Scooby-Doo style van parked in New York City Street. It's a $69 bed and breakfast, Airbnb. So you can stay in New York City for $69 a night. This is a room at the Soho Grand Hotel in New York City will set a New York or a tourist back about $400. But there's a cheaper alternative. A California screenwriter has reportedly turned a van parked on the street in a trendy Manhattan neighborhood into an Airbnb. Well, there you go. New York Post reports that the vehicle, which looks a little like a mystery machine from the Scooby-Doo cartoons, rents for $69 a night. There's a fold-out sofa bed, a nightstand, and a pass to a nearby gym for showering. Van life for those who embrace the adventure and have no problems roughing it, to have a new and memorable experience. You know, I lived in a van for 3 years, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. I would think that would be kind of fun. But and mine didn't have a bed that looks that good. That actually looks pretty nice. So I just thought it was funny when I read about that. I'm like, what's this? Someone came up with a van that looks like the Scooby-Doo van. I wonder if that's what it looks like on the outside, because that would be kind of funny if it does look like that. But they only show really from the inside. But from the inside, it looks pretty comfy. I mean, you got those mini houses nowadays, so it's a little bit bigger or a little smaller than one of those mini houses, and it doesn't have a bathroom or it doesn't have a shower or anything. But you know, for the most part, it would be comfy. So, I would be up for it. At $69 a night versus $400, it's a deal, guaranteed. So that's funny. Let's see, where are we at? Oh, this is kind of neat. So when you're on vacation, you never expect anything. Usually you get what you expect. I should say that. So a Minneapolis girl was at a Swedish lake, and she discovered a pre-Viking sword, pre-Viking era sword, in a Swedish lake. Now that has got to be, first off, it's got to be worth tons of money, I would think, and I would think that would be kind of exciting that they found this sword. Let me see. I don't think this will let me show. No, I guess not. There's a video here, and hopefully it will show the sword. Hold on here. I will play the video momentarily. It's really cool. Okay. Hopefully it'll play.
With more particles than stars.
Why these commercials? I mean, really, seriously, that's a lot of commercials. Like every video I've looked at seems to have commercials lately. So, all right, let's try it.
Well, a young Viking fan, originally from Minneapolis, finds a sword that experts believe is to be from the 4th or 5th century. With an American father and Swedish mother, the family moved to Sweden last year, and now they've brought to light a piece of history they never imagined.
I would imagine that sword's worth money, too.
It's really surreal.
Chatting with us from their home in Sweden, Saga Vanacek and her dad Andy are soaking up international attention from their historic find. While Saga was swimming in the lake at their summer home in mid-July, the curious 8-year-old resisted calls from her dad to get out of the water. It's a good thing she did.
I felt something with my knee or hand, and then I picked it up, and it had like a handle. And I told Dad, I found a sword, and like he thought it was just a stick, and he was like, can't you just come now?
Once Andy was convinced it was a fairly sturdy, but according to Saga, not very heavy sword, they contacted an archaeologist they knew and their local county museum. The sword measures 85 centimeters long, and the museum says it is exceptionally well preserved, considering it was found in about a half a meter of water. The scabbard holding the sword is made of wood and leather, and it is tentatively considered to be from the Iron Age, at least 1,000 or even 1,500 years old.
Everything seemed to fall into place like it was meant to be. Like a girl named Saga finds a Viking sword, and the archaeologist lives in the same village. And it was amazing.
The Vanaceks were sworn to secrecy for 2.5 months as Swedish archaeologists used metal detectors to delicately search the lake for other treasures. They found a brooch from around the same 4th or 5th century, plus a coin from the 17th century.
Purple state of mind, baby.
But for these Vikings fans, finding a pre-Viking era sword was well worth snapping one last photo and plenty of bragging rights.
So we're just happy that it's going to be in a museum someday. It might even say Saga's name by it, so that's kind of cool.
That is cool. Who would have thought?
Cool.
Super cool, that's right. The Vanaceks are told a reward for their find is possible, but archaeologists, experts in Sweden are still working to determine exactly how much that sword.
That's got to be worth tons of money. I would imagine that would be, I mean, that has got to be a lot of money, because I'm thinking that you figure something that old, I've seen things that aren't that old that go for a ton of money, so I would imagine that would be lots of money for them. That would be cool. Just to see that as a situation where, you know, your little girl is out there swimming and having a good time, and she finds this thing worth tons of money. They wouldn't have to pay for her college, I'll tell you that. So, all right. This is so odd. This woman here, well, this family, this couple, they were arrested in Mexico over suspected killings of 10 women. I'll tell you, it doesn't get too much weirder than this. Police in Mexico have arrested a couple suspected of involvement in the murder of at least 10 women, as well as the sale of a baby girl. Alejandro Gomez, attorney of the state of Mexico, which borders the capital, said in the video posted on Facebook that the couple were tracked down during a search for 3 missing women, one of whom disappeared along with her baby. The couple, man and woman, were arrested on Thursday after they left the house in Mexico City, suburb of Ecatepec, with a baby carriage in which investigators had hoped to find the missing child. Instead, they found a black bag containing human remains. So not only did they kill the person, but they apparently chopped them up or something. Subsequent investigations found that the couple had previously deposited other human remains nearby. Under questioning, the man identified as Juan Carlos detailed taking part in the murders of at least 10 women. Just unreal. I mean, I can't even kill a freaking fish. And these people are just killing people left and right. The motive for the killings was unclear. The couple admitted to having sold the missing 2-month-old baby, who was found safe and returned to the grandmother. The couple who acquired the baby were arrested. Thousands of women have disappeared or been murdered during the sharp increase of violence in Mexico in recent years. Of the total number, the largest number were in the state of Mexico, the most populous region of the country. You know, the more I think about Mexico, I mean, I'd be afraid to go down there. It's so corrupt down there and so violent. I'd be afraid to even go to Mexico because of these things. I mean, chances of it happening are probably minimal, but I just think that people like this, not only do they kill the person, but they chop the person up. That is bizarre. And there are so many bizarre people out there. I wouldn't want to be part of that or be the recipient of that. So, yeah, it's just so weird. And to think that they do everything as a couple. They kill people, they steal babies, they sell babies. They do it as a couple. So, all right. Here you go. This is a strange thing. Bus driver put on leave after letting a monkey take the wheel. You know, maybe this monkey could have drove the limo better than the person that drove the limo. An animal-loving bus driver in India has been put on leave after he was caught red-handed engaging in monkey business. Here's a video of it. It's just really strange. So let's see if we can see this. Yeah, come on, drop it. There we go. There you go. You got the monkey steering the bus. Oh man, there are a ton of weird people out there. Who would have thought? Do you think the monkey even understands? He's riding on it. He's riding on the steering wheel. Oh no, the bus is upside down. Wait, here we go. Oh, you needed to spend the money on the cameraman. That's just weird. I mean, it'd be one thing to make him a hood ornament, but to let him drive, that seems kind of weird. I don't know. Who has a monkey anyway? Do not try this at home. I don't know. That's kind of weird. So, got a monkey on my back. I can't help it. I can't help it. I want to drive him. I want to drive the bus. So, there's weird people everywhere. See, and that's India, so it's not even the United States or Mexico. Strange. All right, then we got... What's this? Oh, this is kind of strange. Hero waiter leapt on tracks to save former rail boss, who was 91, who was pushed online. Heroic waiter has described the moment he jumped onto the tube tracks to save the life of a man who had been brutally pushed moments before the train was due. And so we got this guy. He wasn't worried about anything concerning himself. He was worried about this 91-year-old man who was pushed onto the tracks. As soon as I noticed the man on the tracks, I knew I had to act as fast as I could. I saw the train coming. I did not decide to jump onto the tracks. It was just instinct. There was no time to think about it. Sir Malpas had been about to travel to Oxford Circus, having enjoyed pensioners' lunch in central London on April 27th. But the former Eurotunnel boss was aggressively shoved onto the tracks by Paul Crossley, who has since been found guilty of attempted murder. In the CCTV footage of the incident, Sir Malpas can be seen flying over the edge of the platform and plummeting head first onto the tracks. Well, you know, that's strange because I would think that, I guess they're not electric like some tracks. So Mr. El Hassani, who moved to London from France 3 years ago, said he heard screams and shouting before running 20 meters to where the pensioner was. Now, let me see if this is the video of it. All right, so we see this. Oh, man, he fell, and he took a nasty fall. Where's this other guy at? That's really strange. Wow. He's lucky to be alive. So where's this guy that? Oh, wow. Jeez, I can't imagine. That guy was lucky to be alive. I can't imagine that anybody could have saved him, because that guy took a nasty fall. Crossley was 46, was found guilty of 2 counts of attempted murder on Friday, October 5th. Before Sir Malpas, he had attempted to push another victim, Tobias French, in front of a train. What kind of coward is that? I mean, if you dislike somebody, to try to push him just to kill him, it takes a strange mentality there. He's lucky he didn't go himself. I don't know. That's just bizarre. Somehow I just can't imagine how humanity got to where it is. There's just a lot of guys out there that just want to kill people, I guess. Just weird. I'm always talking about Teslas. You know, you would think I would want one, but this is really cool. Let me see. I want to make sure I don't delete this. Okay. Here we go. Now there's a car out there called a Dodge Demon. And Dodge Demon, they're pretty fast cars. They're considered one of the faster cars out there. And it decided that they were going to do a Dodge Demon versus Tesla Model S and see what happens. Now, in the past, I've seen Tesla take on some pretty good cars, and they've won a few, they've lost a few, but this time it was pretty convincing that this car deserves its kudos, you know. Here we go. Now, let me see here. I'm going to turn this volume on. Well, I don't hear any sound. That's not good. Let's turn the sound on here then.
We're back here. Of course, we're going to do the 11.0 class. And we're going to do a little test and tune. Hopefully the battery warms up in time, because I kind of forgot to preheat it. You know, one of the only jobs I got. So, but we'll get it preheated before the class is coming on. But as far as test and tune, we'll see what we got. And hopefully, we can make it pass passes today. And maybe if we get lucky, we'll win a class.
Demon. Oh, this is a demon, right?
Yeah, this is a demon.
Oh, man, you got a tough competition right here.
I don't know if we're lined up or not.
He's a brain destroyer.
Don't listen to him.
You're gonna kill him. Oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Man, I gotta record it.
You're good. I didn't know if we were lined up or not.
Go get him. Go get him.
Thank you, man.
So this guy is telling him that he's going to lose to this demon. I mean, the demon has a reputation of being a pretty fast car. This is an all-electric car against a gas supercar. It's funny because you got the really loud motor, and then you got the electric car, which isn't loud at all.
Oh yeah, look, we got an RC car up here, aka Tesla.
RC car.
Fast. Toys at this event. a 10-second car.
Here we go. What do you think? The Tesla will do 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, I think it is. Now, I will tell you that if this hadn't been a quarter-mile track, here we are we're at the quarter mile. Now he gets up to speed, and now he would probably kick the ass of the Tesla. But up till that quarter mile, he is not beating the Tesla. He's not beating the Tesla at all. And then when he kicks into whatever gear it is that puts him in that, because he catches up to him, but he doesn't catch up in the quarter mile. He beat it by 5 seconds.
Alright, well, that was pretty crazy, as y'all just saw. I seen him in the lanes. I wasn't exactly sure if we were going to line up. You know, I counted the car, see what it was going to turn out to. And another car pulled in front, so I wasn't sure we was going to get to race him. But, well, as you can see, the Dodge Demon isn't as hyped up as, you know, they put it out to be at the moment. So we'll see what happens and see if he wants to race again, maybe.
But the thing is, again, the quarter mile is when he caught up. See, that Dodge Demon is a pretty nasty car. So he raced it again, or another Demon. Now he did that spinning of the tires to get traction, so that when he kicked it down, it will hopefully speed up quicker. This is a second Demon. This guy thought he was hot because he thought the other guy just didn't do it right. The question is, who wins the second round? Picks it up, but again, at the quarter mile, he still didn't win. Just about, though. He just about caught him. Now, one of the reasons is because the transmission on the Demon, you have to shift that, and there isn't a transmission on the Tesla. So, again, the Tesla won again. I thought that was interesting. So, there you go. The Tesla won again. Now the one I buy isn't going to be that fast. I don't really need that much kind of that speed, but it'd be kind of cool to have that if you need it. Not that anybody needs that kind of speed, but I just think it's funny. People don't give Tesla its due. But that Demon was fast. But the gas that Demon ate during that run was pretty high, whereas the gas that the Tesla ran was 0. So that's a good thing too. Okay, so here we go. Now talk about, you know, hybrids and electric cars and all that stuff. Jeep has been known to be a good vehicle to own. In fact, I own a Jeep, but Jeep's Melfi, Italy plant tools up for a Renegade plug-in hybrid. So we're going to see Jeep go into the hybrid market sometime within the next 2 years. That says here it should end up in the public hands in early 2020. So it's funny to see everyone jump on board. And it's real important that everybody jump on board because, I mean, electric cars, plug-in cars, they're the future. They're a lot cheaper. You know, it costs about $6 to fully charge your car. And that's $6 to for like a Tesla. But you know, if you think about it, gas prices are somewhere around $3 a gallon now. And I remember when they got close to 5, well over 5, that's when I got my first Prius. And you know, gas isn't getting cheaper. I mean, it's cheaper now than it was when I got my first Prius, but still. We got to find another way to save money and not give all our money to other countries. So we can do it. We can do it with the hybrid technology. So Toyota created the hybrid technology, and everybody's getting, you know, getting on board. And it's funny to me that after, well, I've had a hybrid since 2006, and it's taken a long time for the hybrid technology to kick in. I mean, there are other manufacturers making hybrids, but they really haven't been serious about it. They haven't pushed it that hard. And it's interesting. Building a car is no small feat. That's why the automakers start prepping their factories in advance. Even though we might not drive it for some time, Jeep's in the process of preparing it for a dose of electrification. Jeep announced Monday that it's begun tooling its plant in Melfi, Italy, to begin a plug-in hybrid variant of the Jeep Renegade. Pre-production types will start rolling off the line in 2019, while the Renegade PHEV itself is slated to market launch in early 2020. Now, a PHEV is basically a plug-in hybrid. So, yeah. According to Fiat Chrysler's press release, the Jeep Renegade PHEV will be the automaker's third electrified vehicle in recent years, following the Pacifica hybrid PHEV and the Ram 1500 mild hybrid. And it said in a meeting in June that the FCA will bring 8 different plug-in hybrids to the U.S. by 2021, including a PHEV variant of the Wrangler. So that doesn't mean that Jeep has stopped updating the current Renegade. In fact, Jeep threw a number of upgrades in the 2019. The exterior packs a fresher look with the new taillights and new wheel designs, while the interior gets upgraded instrument cluster graphics. The Renegade's 1.4-liter turbo L4 gasoline engine has been dropped in favor of the new 1.3 turbo L4, which makes 177 horsepower and 200 pound-feet of torque improvements of 17 and 16 respectively of the outgoing engine. So basically, you know, they recognize that I mean, you can't have vehicles in the year in the year 2018. Well, I can, but you know, we're going to see the need to get vehicles up to 40 plus gallons. You know, even the Malibu hybrid, it gets up to 50 miles to the gallon. So the Prius gets up, the plug-in Prius Prime gets 60 miles to the gallon, which is unheard of. And so as we get better and better about these vehicles, we're hopefully going to see more than... my Jeep probably gets 18 miles to the gallon. And... That's just really wrong in today's gasoline cars. But, you know, the Pacifica gets probably close to 34, but then it's a plug-in hybrid, so you got 30-some, I think you get 33 miles to the gallon, or 33 miles before the engine kicks on. So I guess we're going to have to wait to see if everybody's going to accept it. But, you know, Tesla's really driven that market. And so everyone's going to have to play, because if they don't have a competitive product, people are going to leave them behind, and then they'll end up, you know, not being able to survive in this world. So they're going to have to be competitive. They're going to have to do what they got to do to make it work. So I don't know. I think it took a lot longer to get to where we need to be, and hopefully this is a good sign. So, and there are certainly more. There are certainly more electric stations than there were before. So, yeah, it should be a no-brainer. But I don't know. It may not be a no-brainer, but it is to me. I would think that we would want to save our energy resources, and I think that you know, things that we should look at. We need to get more solar. We need to seriously look at other alternatives to energy. But what do I know? All right, let's see here. Did I talk about this last week? I think I did. Did I do the Steve Jobs story? I think I did. So I'll let that go. I know I did that. All right. I think I did this. Sometimes I don't remember to delete them after I do them. Here we go. All right, here we go. A shark, not to be confused with Shark Tank, shark stalked bloody victim as rescuers rushed him to a California beach. Yeah, so sharks are still out there. They're out there watching us all and wanting to eat us. I don't know if they eat us or not, but at least kill us. They're one of the few animals out there that stalk their victim like that. But they can't get you if you don't go in the water. That's one good thing. No swimming. Anyway, a kayaker who helped rescue a teen attacked by a shark off the California beach says the shark stalked the kayak during the life and death race to the shore. A 13-year-old boy was free diving without scuba gear when he was attacked Saturday morning. And let's see here, the youth was airlifted to a local hospital where his condition was stabilized. And it says here, Chad Hamill says he was lobster hunting when with two friends when he heard the shouts. Hamill thought somebody was excited because they had caught some big bugs on his first day of lobster diving season. But it kept going, and I realized he was yelling, "I got bit." So Hamill said he and his friends swam over to the kayak and pulled the boy, 13, inside. His whole clavicle was ripped open, and you could see the ball and socket and joint and everything. That's got to be terrifying to imagine that this shark would have just attacked him. I mean, that's the thing. Most animals run away from us, but there are a few animals that choose to stand up to us and later eat us or destroy us. We started heading in. The shark was behind the kayak. He didn't want to give up, adding that the kayak was full of blood. The youth was conscious when he was airlifted to the hospital, and the shark attack happened in 9 feet of water, more than 100 yards from shore. Now, that's the weird thing about it. I mean, in the place that I go to the beach, I don't think there's too many sharks there, but I know that the beach, like when we go on dolphin cruises, a lot of the times the dolphin cruise is so close to the beach, you wonder, how deep it is. And they say that the water is 7 feet deep where the boat is. And you think, well, that's not very deep. I mean, I'm 6'2", so it's just above my head. And I think about that whenever I went out there. I think about how close the animals are to the shore, because we're seeing dolphins. And certainly if a shark is in the neighborhood, he could eat us in 7 feet of water. But anyway, yeah, I'd be terrified. And it's weird to think that they would just attack somebody, but they've been known to do what they do that, and certainly a kid that size wouldn't be much more than a morsel to them, I would think. But anyway, it happens. Hopefully the kid's going to be okay. So, you know your risks when you go in the water. Let me see. Oh, I already did that. Okay. Here's a weird one. And it shows the mentality of some people. So, Florida man shoots and kills puppy from a balcony during a walk with its owners. So this kid, a man was arrested in Florida after he shot and killed an 8-month-old puppy with a high-powered pellet rifle from a second-floor balcony. So the guy's a coward. He's up in a balcony and he's shooting at dogs. The David Police Department said that Johansson Conception de la Rose, 19, faces a charge of felony cruelty to animals. The incident happened around 6:30 p.m. when the owners of the dog named Princess were walking the animal. And said that police said that Ross, while armed with a pellet rifle with a scope, took a knee, lined up the crosshairs, and took a shot, killing the little dog. I just can't imagine anyone being that cruel. I think they should put him in a cage and let people shoot at him. And I really hate people that are that way towards animals. Animals are just innocent, and a little dog like that, especially, or put the dog in the cage with the kid, and let's have a fight. And let's not have any pellet guns. Let's just have it one-on-one. I'd like to see that. The dog's owner didn't know what happened when Princess began to bleed from the mouth and was unable to seek help from an off-duty officer who happened to be driving in the area. I guess they did actually, was able to, I said unable, was able to get help from an off-duty officer. And it says... police posted photos showing in graphic detail the dog after it was shot with blood in its mouth and on the sidewalk. I just can't understand why somebody would want to kill an animal like that. And someone that did that is psychotic and will probably do it again or do something even worse. When officers went to the apartment where the shot was fired, another man inside, identified as Daniel Alvarez, said police told police that Conception de la Rose had said in Spanish, "I'm going to shoot the dog." Police said the dog was taken to an animal hospital where it was determined that the pellet traveled through the puppy's chest, killing it. Princess was an 8-month-old puppy who belonged to an 8-year-old daughter of the parents who were walking it. The family had just moved to the area. Just sad. I mean, that is just freaking sad. You know, why would someone want to do that? I mean, like I said, it's just, the guy is just cruel, beyond cruel, because there's just nothing the dog could have done to cause that. The person just was an angry person, I guess, I'm assuming. just didn't like dogs, and I'm very sad about people like that. I just don't understand why anybody would do that. I mean, I've had a lot of dogs that I've saved, rescued, and when I see someone being cruel to an animal like that, it just infuriates me. I just don't understand why, why somebody would do that. So, oh, what happened? Oh, here we go. British man trapped in a shed as slave for 40 years. Oh, that's so weird. We talk about, people that are in modern day slavery. Who would ever thought that would be a situation? But police rescued a British man who was likely trapped in a shed for 40 years and forced to work as a slave. I can't even imagine that happening. How could that happen in today's world? Although we hear of people that smuggle slaves into different places, and so I guess it's not beyond the realm of possibility, but it certainly is unlikely. But this guy here doesn't think it's unlikely at all. Police have rescued a British man who was trapped inside this shed and forced to work as a slave. I can't imagine. The BBC reported that the 58-year-old man was inside with only a chair and soiled bedding. His rescuers found him Wednesday during a raid in a residential site near Carlisle in Cumbria, United Kingdom. Authorities later rescued a 79-year-old man on suspicion of modern slavery practices. Gangmasters and Labor Abuse Authority officers discovered the trapped man after a call was made. Can you imagine that? I just can't imagine that. In 2018, to see that this was happening, that just is so weird. 40 years. It's so weird. I don't know. We found him like he was a rabbit in headlights and very confused. He was just in the clothes. He was just in the clothes he stood up in, and he was sleeping in the shed where there was just a soiled duvet on the floor. There was no heating, and it was very cold, in the conditions that no human being should live in. Plimmer said the man was likely forced to do unpaid work from the age of 16 or 17. Based on the information from officers, it was not immediately clear if the man attempted to leave at any point. He's been traumatized to such a length of time it would take. It'll be a slow process to win back his trust. I mean, what kind of... I can't... it's funny because I've been free all my life, so I can't imagine being in that situation where you can't leave and I don't know. But I guess it's a possibility. I mean, this is a strange thing. Boy Scout died from injuries after being hit by an alleged drunk driver. 4 others remain hospitalized. In this day and age, where you have Ubers and you have Lyft and all that other stuff, there is really no reason anybody should get caught drunk driving. My cousin was a drunk driver, and he ended up killing himself, and he had been caught. Now, this was back in the early 80s, late 70s. He had been caught drunk driving a couple times, and I couldn't understand that because, I mean, that could be one of the reasons I never got drunk, but I just couldn't understand it. But we didn't. Not that if we had Uber or anything back then, it would have stopped him, because he still would have been like that. It says one of the Boy Scouts struck by an alleged drunk driver while walking along the New York road Sunday has died. Suffolk County Police said the 7th grader Andrew Morris, 12, of Wading River died after he and members of Troop 161 were struck head-on by an alleged drunk driver in Manorville, Long Island, Sunday. I can't even, I just am saddened by that. We offer our condolences to the victim's family. We will support them in any way we can. Our thoughts remain with the Boy Scouts still recovering from this incident. McMorris, who was a student at the Albert Prodell Middle School, was among a group of Boy Scouts walking on the shoulder of the David Terry Road in Manorville on Sunday afternoon when a 59-year-old Thomas Murphy, driving a white 2016 Mercedes, hit a group head-on. Well, that 2016 Mercedes tells me this guy has some money. 15-year-old Thomas Lake was airlifted to Stony Brook University Hospital where he was treated for serious injuries. The other scouts, Dennis Lane, 16, Matthew Yakubowski, 15, and Caden Lynch, 15, suffered injuries that were not life-threatening and were not treated in Peconic Bay Medical Center. Were being treated. So I'm very saddened by that too, that somebody had to kill them. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, these people, I just can't understand why in this day and age anybody would drive drunk. So, you know, it just doesn't matter. There's other ways to do things. And it's sad, but that's the way people are. They're just, they only care about themselves, and they don't care about the people that they harm. So, all right, let's see. We have time, a little bit more time. Let me see. I've got, let's see, I could do this. Okay. All right, let's do this one. Good reason not to go to Walmart. Gunman opens fire in Indiana Walmart parking lot, injuring 2. Authorities in Hobart, Indiana, responded Sunday night in a shooting. This was Sunday night. What's the date here? This might be a week old, but oh yeah, October 1st. The Chicago Tribune have identified the person of interest. They believe the shooting was an isolated incident. Heidi Bagley, who was in the cat food aisle with her teen daughter, described the chaotic scene. She told the paper that when she heard some kind of commotion, then she saw people running. I mean, running, she said. Crazy running. After the scene calmed down, she approached her car and found a bullet hole in her bumper. That's got to be crazy to think that, you know. Let's see, we got a video clip here of the Walmart. And looks like local, state, and FBI are on the scene at Walmart. But it says here, Chicago 7, ABC 7 reported that the shooting appeared to start after an argument in the parking lot. Some people shouldn't have guns, that's what I say. So, all right. I think we'll let this go, and I will talk to you guys next week. I hope you enjoyed the show. And hold on here. Let's see. There we go. Got to get to my exit music. So, hold on there. There we go. All right. Well, thank you for listening. I hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed the show. And as always, as every week I always say,